always feel it's necessary to wait for our cameras to come online before getting started and saying, welcome once again to Wondering Monster, the Monster Manual of Podcasts. I am John fucking Baltusberger.
I am Charles fucking Bernard.
I am Ian Expletive Servas.
I am Harlen Bog Wizard Link.
Wait,
Excellent.
you're not Charles Patchkey. You're not pretending to be Ned Flanders or vaguely Eastern European assassin. You're in fact
Or
the
Wario.
drummer of one of the coolest sludgy doom bands around.
We try. Thank
Yes. Yes, we have a very special guest tonight, and that is our friend Harlen from Bog Wizard. And if you want to hear a little bit of Bog Wizard and some other bands to accompany our gameplay tonight, you can go to tinyurl.com/WMPlay1. That's all lowercase WMPlay and the number 1. And that'll open up the Spotify playlist for you. And you can sample a little bit of the fucking doomy goodness that is this excellent gentleman's excellent band. So,
Friends, I could go into how I got to meet Harlen, but just know in your heart it was through lies and deceit, where I convinced Harlen that I was a metal band reviewer in order to get early access to his split with Roglord.
To be fair, you were kind of like, so technically, I'm maybe a reviewer.
I do review that. I write for
I
a
review
literary magazine who does
Yeah.
music stuff, and
yeah.
and unfortunately, my editor did see that conversation and then asked me for a review. So
Yeah,
I
so
did
it worked out.
to write
It worked
it.
out for me.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really fucking cool episode we have for you tonight, because not only do we have Harlen, we have Harlen's like giant dice tower that he brought. He's going to show it off to us real quick.
It's in 2 pieces,
Oh.
but it sits
It's
down
sexy.
nice. I wish
so
I could remember
impressive.
who it came from, but it was a Kickstarter for this giant, ridiculous dice tower, and I'm drawing a blank on the name right now.
We are
Nice.
playing
Shout out to them.
tonight. We are playing tonight a massive project on Kickstarter, SVMP. SVMP. It is a SVMP. It is a Mork Borg module, supplement, suppository, all of the above. And we're just going to jam it right up inside ourselves and have a grand old time. Like I'm friends of us, Billy Blue did some of the art. Old Raging Barbarian, who did the art, a bunch of the art for the Godless League Adventures game, did a bunch of art for it. So it really feels like SVMP is family to us. We're just really happy to be able to dive into it. We'll do some like announcements because we have some big ass announcements. We'll get to that shit later. And we'll tell you all about Bog Wizard and some of the cool shit they have going on. So, but I think right now, like, I'm itching to get into this gameplay. So, is there anything you want to talk about, guys, before I click us over to the game screen?
I mean, you mentioned about itching. I warned everyone they should pull on tons of bug spray and all of that because it's going to get real messy.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Malaria, here we come. Okay, here we are. Ian, take it away.
All right, then. Well, we have... This is the adventure from Swamp, which is the Child Snatcher of Sarkesh. So, people who haven't already seen the Kickstarter for Swamp, you've got 7 days left to back if you are catching this live, and it's blown through all of its stretch goals. In fact, I was saying you should maybe add some more stretch goals, like maybe get Bog Wizard to do an exclusive track.
I want that poster so bad,
Putting you on the
guys.
spot there, but that would be really neat. No pressure, but it's a great Kickstarter to get a hold of because a lot of people love world building for Mork Borg, and one environment that really hasn't been explored is Swamp. So there are fantastic new creatures, treasures, rumors, everything in it. And this adventure that's in the book is actually a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see what we get through. So with a 2-hour tight window, I'm hoping we get to some of the very weird encounters. All of the characters...
Giga, I will get that Kickstarter up for you in just a few minutes.
And for the 3 characters that will be playing tonight are the unique classes that are included in this book. So you'll get a little bit of a taste of what it's like, what this can add to your campaign. Especially if you like things with a little bit of an occult twist to it, I think you'll be quite pleased by your characters. But speaking of characters, we should let our colorful cast of doomed souls introduce themselves and what they are playing.
I'll start. Tonight, I will have the pleasure of playing Flogar Sourwind, who's a hulking behemoth whose, bloated body and gigantic bulging muscles are filled with the gas of his own rotting meat and the strange vapors of the swamp, which have, infused me with a towering strength that is also quite disgusting. So yeah, that's me.
That is the fume-inflated gut ripper.
Yes.
I am Kuklaus, the Schrammstrider, and very few have known my actual name. No one has seen the face. Kuklaus wears the desiccated corpse of swamp goblins as armor, including a swamp goblin mask at all times. Those who have gotten close enough have seen that he has sewn that mask into his own face. For because metal, frankly.
Good enough.
Straight up Alpha Legion shit,
Yeah. And he is a killer, an assassin, and some would say a lover. Those people are very wrong, but some say it.
And what was that class name?
Oh, I am. There we are. I am the Kabbalistic Root Worker.
Nice. I am playing Kiergast the Prophet. I am a swamp cult renegade. I used to be a member of a cult, but now I am solo because they were all too soft and cowardly for me. So my god is Erder, the Lord of the Frogs, fittingly enough. And he's real pale, spotty skin, real hunched over, just kind of looks like a psycho. And he's got these toad skins, like a toad skin cloak with faces on it, and they kind of seem to be moving a little bit for some reason.
Nice.
Love it.
So all 3 of you have experience with the swamp, either being denizens proper or having a lot of experience with navigating. So it was the 3 of you that have been approached by an envoy of Baron Octrul, Lord Schnisseltinkbing, who came to you with a problem that the children of their town of Arkul have been disappearing. Just one night, all of the children seem to have up and disappeared, and you could see that there are footprints just trailing off through the forest of Sarkesh and deep into its dark, moist heart, where the swamp lies. It's an accursed place full of terrible beasts that people can hear roaring in the distance, of fetid miasmic gases that choke people out. It's a terrible place that no sane human would rationally go, and the 3 of you are perfect candidates to go into the swamp and recover the children, if possible, or at least learn about what their fate.
You can probably bring back some bones.
Absolutely.
That's an option. Are they offering a reward of like a good reward?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's in it for us here? I think we should just skip this. I'm kidding. Sorry.
I knew I shouldn't have skipped the scene where you do your bargaining. 2-hour play window, too tight. So each of you has a suitable reward that has enticed you. For some of you, it's just a large sack of silver. For another of you, perhaps it's a pardon of some great crime that you've committed that has been discovered. Or Perhaps
Some more
it's
toad
just
skins.
bloodlust. Why don't you quickly tell me what is the reward that is sufficient enough for you to go into one of the darkest, most fetid parts of the swamp?
A third magic toad. I've got 2 of them, but a third one would be really cool. We could do 4-part harmony that way.
It'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with some kind of artifact from Erder that's going to connect me to this lord even more.
I have a target that I am planning on assassinating, and by doing this task, I will be given a. The person hiring me will provide me the window I need to strike.
So each of you have this thing that is burning in your mind, driving you on deeper and deeper into the swamp. The further you go, the more claustrophobic it seems to get. You're surrounded by walls of thick reeds or trees with almost cages of interlocking roots. At times, you are almost forced in through small passageways of like stomping grounds through like the thick matted vegetation. It's hot, it's rank, it's terrible, and there are times where Flogar, you almost get snared in all of this tangled overgrowth. But unlike all the others, you're probably the most buoyant one and able to navigate some of the deeper waterways.
For the most part, my character just kind of like rides like nose above the water, and his cloak of frogs kind of trails behind him, and just
Oh,
sort
that's
of
cool.
looking around like a psycho.
There's this unsettling feeling as the two of you see that you're almost perpetually followed by what looks to be an alligator. But with the chanting you hear gurgling under the waters, you realize it's just your newfound companion.
Kurokulosh seems extremely adept at kind of leaping from root to root, dancing along lily pads and such, and almost appears not to be getting dirty, despite also being dirty.
So you eventually come to this mouth of this deepest part of the swamp. The air is so thick and humid it almost just hangs upon you like a funeral pall. There are dead rotting trees that you can hear liquid gurgling in the trunks, almost like throats. There are clouds of noxious insects that hover above the waters, making a buzz so loud that it sets your teeth on edge. You see in front of you that there is this is a large plain of muck and pools of water. In the distance, you can see that the vegetation parts itself. So up to the northwest of where you are, you can see this muck and just fetid material rises up a little bit, and you swear you can see what almost looks to be like the outline of buildings or structures. There's a thick, hazy fog, so it's really difficult for you to see quite clearly. But over to the northeast, you can see that it starts to get more marshy, more wet, and you think that there must be pooling water further in the distance. You're currently standing on almost what's like a small island surrounded by black water and tangled roots and tall reeds. When if you look back the way you came, it's just a wall of that fog and tons of clouds of biting insects. Looks like you're kind of stuck here. Where do you go? Northwest? Northeast?
What do we see to the northwest?
To the northwest, you could see that the swamp itself rises up a little bit as far as the elevation, and you see that there are the outline of some types of structures, but it's partly obscured a little bit by this thick mist.
What were the directions that look like we could kind of head in that direction?
Well, northeast or northwest. So northwest is drier ground and structures, and if you look to the northeast, it is more swampy. Like you see more water rising.
I kind of feel more at home in the swamp, so I want to go that way. personally.
I was gonna say we should head for dry land. I also like the swamp, but I also know there are alligators in the water.
You might like he probably understands that, but also is like, but it's like this. It's my jam over there.
It's okay. All I am saying, my friend, is it is also your jam that way. It is just less dangerous jam. It is like marmalade.
I like this danger. This is good danger. This is unknown danger.
What's the prayer that you give to your god, the frog god, or the frog lord, that helps protect you in such a miasmic place?
Oh god, I haven't thought of that one because there's the obvious one, but that's when he does spells. That's gotta come later.
Oh, I'm just putting you in a spot for some improv. You could.
Yeah.
No pressure.
He probably wouldn't be very verbal with it. He would just probably go off and like in a corner and kind of like mumble to himself and mumble like against a tree or something, lean against it and like look back at everybody else in the party really suspiciously, like what are you looking at? Like this is between me. Like,
Kierkegaard opens his mouth and his cheeks puff out as he makes the sound of the frog and the toadkin. And you can hear in the far distance there are pockets of chittering, and you know that you have the presence of the true God amongst you. All of your former friends are wrong, and someday they will all burn in the abyss. So, Flogar, you're a tiebreaker here. What say you?
Well, Flogar's also probably got maybe the best view. I'm pretty tall, so I'm gonna kind of like gesticulate with my swollen fingers with their brass knuckles like baked into them in the northwesterly direction and say, "Structures need children," like I know from experience, which is slightly unsettling, but I'm probably not going to eat one of them.
Maybe.
So you leave this little hillock and you move more to the northwest, and the further you go in that direction, you're overcome with increasingly intense waves of rot, like that sweet stench of maybe corpses or just very long decaying things. You can see in the distance with your beady porcine eyes that there are some overgrown rotten ruins. Most of it is just either frameworks of buildings or piles of rubble. Maybe they were houses at one point. It's kind of hard to tell from here.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to. Oh, 1 second. Oh, just I should have told you this before we started. I have the components to make a cloud of angst of the 3 things I have.
So one of the unique features of the Kabbalistic root worker is that instead of being an overt spellcaster, they instead have a mortar and pestle that they begin with, and they collect components and grind it up to make various powders or unguents or other things, kind of like some of the other herbalistic classes, but their abilities are much more swamp-like.
It reminds me of a bone grinder from the Iron Kingdoms Unleashed. For what that's worth.
So you have the 3 of you are still divided here, trying to figure out where to go, and you have this feeling that the more you're staying in place, there seem to be things watching you. Like you turn and you look in the reeds, and you see faint movement, and it's gone. But you swear that you would see pairs of like yellow eyes, or see things peering out at you.
That just makes me tempted to go charging into the reeds. But
I'm going to lift my robe. Oh right. I'm going to reach under. There we go.
Your goblin flaps.
The flayed flesh of a swamp goblin that I've sewn to my own skin, and fiddle with something under my clothes. Ian, no, you don't. No, don't ask any questions. This is me time. This is for John.
That makes
this
it
is
worse.
for Kuklaus.
Way worse.
um, Ian, I am going to use the Black Mirror.
Yes. So if anyone is looking at Kukulus, you see that there's something literally also stitched to his belly, and it's a black, almost obsidian-like object that has a reflective surface. So you begin to.
I do a
Go
lot of sewing.
Sort of like one of these.
A little bit more rough and giving a very strange, awkward feeling. Whenever you look at it, it's like your eyes want to naturally avert away from it, and it seems to swallow the light a little bit. It's uncomfortable. So you are using your black mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and make me a presence check.
Oh gosh. That is a D. I can't remember how to make checks.
A D20,
Yeah, D20
plus
to
1, since
check.
your presence is a +1.
Right. Okay.
And you're trying to hit 12.
I did not hit 12.
What did you?
Everything's fine. No, everything's fine. I definitely did roll a nat 1. That's definitely not what just
A
no.
nat 1.
No, I didn't.
Interesting.
So you gaze into this and you see something heinous. You see what looks to be like a man, but the flesh has melted off his body, and it is almost like a writhing pool that seems to be screaming out and chanting things. And there's this horrible moment when you see this thing remotely, but it locks eyes with you, and it bores its gaze into your soul, and you feel something begin to wither in your chest, like your lungs or something. Roll me another presence check.
8. I want to mention that that was the second nat 1 I've rolled of the evening.
I also then need you to roll me a d4.
I don't like all these rolls. They make
Die.
John sad.
Time
That's
to
a 3.
switch dice, man.
So
These were a gift from Leonard.
Well, okay.
So you have this image of this molten thing bored into your soul. For the next 3 nights, you will get no rest from sleep, and you will wake up screaming anytime you fall asleep as you see this thing, and it's almost just like you can hear in its dreams what it's saying, and you wake up right at the verge of you comprehending what it is. It'll be
That's going to be fun for the rest of us, too.
Never let go of. All right, so you're all still here in this entrance to the deeper part of the swamp, and you can go to the northeast or to the northwest.
I'm still liking the look of buildings more than deep swamp.
Yeah, I think we're going that way.
Yeah.
If you've talked Kiergast into it, he's like, okay. I mean,
I only peed a little.
fine.
So you trudge to the northwest, and your feet feel a little bit more stable as you get on what seems to be a more solid ground, or it looks like the ground itself has been pounded flat a long time ago and slightly shored up. It hasn't really stood the test of time, as you can see there in these at the edges of these various ruins that the swamp is seeping in and crumbling the foundation. It looks like that there were perhaps 5 or 6 houses or stone huts of some kind. Most of them are piles of rubble, and there's a couple of standing walls. There are the smell of rot coming from these piles or around them, and it's slightly oddly quiet around here. You can see that the swamp itself provides passages to the due north as well as to the northeast.
My character pulls out his crowbar and starts kind of like shuffling through some of the piles that are
All
in
right.
here.
Then go ahead and make me a presence check as you begin to sort through the ruins.
13.
13. Great.
Nice.
I need you to make me a couple more rolls. Roll me 3 d20s. Add it together.
Oh no.
Here's your math test for the day.
36.
36.
Nicely done, sir.
So
it was easy. It was like 10, 15, and then 11. So it was just like
as
Okay, that's not too bad.
as you begin to go through these, like prying up large blocks and sorting through the rubble, that's the amount of silver pieces that you find. Some of them are bent, and some of them are of a really ancient minting with designs you haven't seen in aeons. It still looks to be perfectly acceptable currency, though.
he kind of bites a few of them and like checks them and looks really like suspicious of everybody else around him as he's like putting it in his backpack.
Do you share with your compatriots, or does this share go to Frog Lord?
He does not share.
Lastly,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no,
He
Go
probably
ahead. Are
doesn't
you
hide
wanting
it
to
very
search?
much either for the record, and he's just kind
I
of.
was gonna say, I'm very excited about these magic toads I have because I'm a big fan of animal companions in games. So I believe they can obey any command that's like within the power of a regular ass toad to do. So in honor, yeah, talk.
Thank you.
In honor of course, the ravens of Odin, I've named them Huggy and Muggy. So I take them down off my shoulders, which is naturally where they ride, and I set them down on the ground and say, "Does it smell like children?" And they kind of start hopping around, smelling for children. So
you're setting in the smell for children, not going through the ruins.
yeah, not go through the ruins. I just want them to like a corpse dog, see if they can spot if there's like a body, as I suspect, buried under one of these things.
All right. While you do that, roll me a d6.
Alrighty.
My character is very
That-
fascinated with these frogs.
Hey, how about a nat 1? How does that sound for everybody?
This is the best game.
All right. So this is going to be interesting. So you instruct your toads to be on the alert for corpses or the trace of people. And one of them hops off into the distance to the north and comes back, and in a gurgling voice, it tells you that there's a skeleton just up ahead, and it has something. But then after that, its vocabulary kind of peters out. It's
Right.
trying to say something.
All right. Well, that sounds promising.
My character may now worship that frog. He's looking like really wide-eyed, like, oh shit, what just happened there? Okay, very noted.
Nicholas,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I am probably still reeling from my psychic vision. Frankly, I've kind of staggered after them. I'm not too concerned about money. No, that's funny for a lot of reasons, actually. But I'm not too concerned about money, so it doesn't bother me that he took all the silver. I've seen magical animals before, and I'm familiar with swamp magic, so the frog trick doesn't really concern me. I have not often been accosted by melty men, which
That's a new one.
is British slang for impotence. So, yeah, that's kind of where my mind is. Right
You
now.
did say that there were some people that would call you a lover and that they are wrong. Do you have a case of the melting men?
That's exactly why I'm so concerned. Like, you think it's like, oh no, this nightmare's vision. No, I'm worried that like
It was a metaphor.
little Kirklush doesn't work anymore.
This synchronicity of seeing this image and dealing with your own impotence gives this terrible resonance that just reverberates through your soul.
I was
It
hoping we
is a
would get into
bummer.
real world therapy tonight.
This is not Yezeba's bed and breakfast. So what do you? So what
Much
do you
love
do?
to
You're,
that game, though.
You're standing here in the ruins. Do you investigate these ruins along with Kurgast? Do you
Yeah.
go?
Yes. Okay. Let me ask this: did the frogs speak in like a language that I could understand, or was it strictly like speaking into the mind of my bloated friend?
Probably that isn't something that you wouldn't have experience with. You haven't been a convert, no matter all of the things that Kurgast has told you. You've not pledged yourself to the Frog Lord. Kurgast would
Yet.
probably be able to understand the wet, not parcel tongue, but I guess herpa tongue. I don't know what that would be for frogs, but he could understand it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'm kind of just. Yeah. I guess I'll be poking through stuff with my femur, not
Then-
my femur, mind you. The femur I carry.
Okay, roll me a presence
using a
check as
femur.
well.
I really don't want to roll anymore, though. Yeah, no, it's a bad roll. Don't worry, I didn't get a natural one that time. I got it too.
All right. Okay. So, Kurgas, you can keep searching the ruins to see if there's anything more that you find. And Flogar, you have this report of there being a strange skeleton just on the north edge of this space. You're kind of fenced in with tall reeds and very spindly, rotting trees.
Yeah, I'm going after them bones. I'm gonna let these cats know though first, because for all of his, hideous bloatedness, like Florgar, he's looking for friends as much as he's looking for like greater meaning in the scheme of things. So he sort of gives them a "there's bones," and then just starts like kind of thumping off that direction.
I use bones, so I'm going to immediately follow after.
Oh yeah.
Kiergast is. You're gonna notice he's probably like hanging by your side a little bit tighter than he has up to this point. He's like, "You
Cool.
are friend of the frog. I see.
Yeah.
we can
yeah.
be cool."
They're my besties.
We're the three best friends that anyone could have.
So
We're never,
when
ever,
you-
ever, ever.
when you follow the toad's whispering, you find at the edge of the space that there is a pool of water that is seeping from the ground, and sitting by this is an old skeleton covered in vines, and slimy algae is like smattered across its bones. You see that it seems to be holding something that looks like a fishing rod. It's missing a string, but it's pointed over the water just as if a fishing rod would
So it kind
be.
of dips down into like a watery kind of pit
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
like
right
it's
there.
holding like a rod-like thing above the pool.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see that there are vines that's completely snaked through its rib cage, and
But
just
it's out of the water, but it's like looking like
it's sitting
fishing.
next to it, almost as if it was sitting on a log by
He
it.
died
and the log
doing
has
what he
just rotted
loved.
away.
Yeah, died doing what he loved.
Sitting.
Yeah.
Oh, fishing.
So just to be clear, like, is there actual line extending from the rod, or has that long rotted away?
It looks like it is rotted away. It looks just almost like a rod. Are you getting close enough to look at it?
Yeah, I'm gonna get close enough to look without getting. Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna get close enough to look.
So you focus your, again, I imagine you with like very thick, heavy, fat brows and like obscured eyes. So when you focus it, you see that there are runes carved into his bones. And when you look at the rod, there is there are some strange inscriptions on the side of it, like scrimshaw. That's not quite bone, but it's some type of odd material. And you'd be damned if you're wrong, but it certainly does look like an old gnarly fishing rod. You can see that there's a thin wire that is wrapped around the top, almost like knotted in, that's very close to the shaft, and you can see there is a rusty hook at the edge of it.
I would very much like this fishing rod.
And I know why, and I'm gonna let John have it because I have a feeling I know what's about to be deployed.
Meanwhile, I'm looking for like a good like palm-sized rock. He's kind of scavenging. around.
All right. So are you digging in the rubble and ruin from previously?
Just no, like on the ground, on
Okay.
the walk. As we're approaching, he kind of like sees this water and he wants to get something in hand.
So
Yeah.
you find a couple of nice choice stones.
Okay.
Cruculus, roll me d4.
Stop asking me to roll. I'm bad at rolling tonight. Leonard, if you're watching or listening, why did you give me cursed dice? I thought we were friends.
that was the joke, man.
You're getting higher each time.
Throw a curse
Subsequently.
on there, you know.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
go. Get it.
Get it. So when you pry this rod from the skeleton's hands, its jaw just falls open, and there's this rattling sound as if all of its teeth were just shaking in its sockets. It makes a low moan sound that gets progressively louder and louder until
I'm going to shove my goblin scrotum in the mouth.
What?
You may need to clarify for our viewers
I don't.
or
No,
listeners.
no, I do not. I said what I said.
What about your fellow game participants? You want to explain to us?
I read the sheet, so I know what's going on.
So all of my weapons and gear and stuff is made from dead goblin, and I have a sling made from the distended scrotum of a goblin with kidney stones as like pellets that I can use.
At least you use every part of the goblin. That's the important thing.
Not the taint.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where
The one
that's where the
patch
curse
that's left behind.
That's where the curse resides. The goblin curse resides in the taint.
It's all in the taint.
So as you rip this, as it's beginning to almost like it's screaming this guttural, low moaning sound, you shove your goblin scrotum in its mouth. Things I did not expect to say on our stream. But here we are.
This all started with me getting a sponsorship for Murder HoboCon. Now you're talking about goblin scrotums.
It is. It
Circle of life,
absolutely
baby.
is.
Yeah,
And
listen to our back catalog enough, and you wouldn't be too surprised at where things wound up.
it begins to get up, and it begins to masticate the goblin scrotum.
I beg your pardon? Oh, sorry.
And you see that the vines in it begins to like snake and coil harder as it begins to animate the skeleton. Its moaning stops, and you can tell that perhaps by sacrificing your weapon to it, you may have stopped it from emitting a curse or some type of summons. But you now have a very angry skeleton that is exuding hate and has its eye sockets fixed on that fishing rod that you have just yanked from its hands. I will need all of you to roll me initiative.
I was gonna say.
So that,
he's
or actually,
not
how
gonna be staring for long.
about one of you just roll me, and we'll do it round robin. Who feels lucky?
Okay, cool. I
Do me a
feel
d6.
lucky.
No, sir.
Oh, a D6. All right. Okay, hang on. And that's a 3.
So the
that's a 3. Sorry.
All right. So the skeleton gets the drop on you as it moves faster than you fully expect. Something that has been sitting here for so long. It lashes out with its bony arms, and for a second you see the runes on its bones begin to glow, a very deep red color to it. As those runes begin to glow, blood begins to just spontaneously pour from its bones, and
that's pretty cool.
It's almost trying to say something again, but its teeth is just full of mangled goblin scrotum. But it lunges out at you, Cruculus, and it tries to jab its fingers that are elongating into knives in through your chest. So roll me a defense.
All right, that is this.
The real problem here, John, is that you've given it a taste for scrotum, and now it's coming after us.
Coming after you, maybe.
Mangled scrotum is the new man name.
I got 9.
Thank you, Nick. What was that?
I got
did you get?
9.
A 9. So you're so transfixed by this rod and everything that has happened here that it just shoves its hand through you, parting your
Oh
flesh
shit!
like butter. Now,
Dead.
you do have a goblin shield, so you can either use that to soak up your damage, or you can have it negate your attack and have it shatter.
Can I
So-
know how much damage it's doing before I make that call?
Absolutely. That sounds reasonable to me. Well, maybe
That
you're lucky
escalated
there.
quickly.
2 points of damage.
Yeah, seeing as I'm wearing armor and I have a shield, it shoots its hands towards me, which then slide off the goblin scrotum. Like repels like. As long as the goblin scrotum is stuck in its teeth, it can't hurt me, baby.
So, for people who aren't seeing the chat stream, Tommy, the author and creator of Swamp, just woke up at 4 a.m. his time, us shoving a goblin scrotum in one of his random encounters' mouth.
You're welcome.
Tommy, if
Wandering monster brand.
if that makes you happy, you could always up my my pledge to get that poster, baby. I promise all scrotums all the time.
All scrotums all the time. We're going to do round robin for initiative, just for sake of convenience and streamlining. So we're going to go in my field of vision. So that puts you right up at the top there, Kirk Gast. You found a perfect stone. You've got it, and you saw this whole scene unfold in front of you.
He was not planning on using this stone as a weapon, but given the circumstances, he's going to throw this thing at it. Just because it is at hand.
Roll me a presence check.
That would be a 9.
So you fling this rock, and it is too busy clawing through the goblin hide protection of Krukulus to stay in place. The rock just goes over its head. Next, we will do Flogar.
Oh,
It's
I'm
been a
taking
while since
swing.
you've crushed something with your hands. And
Yeah, I'm
you're
doing
getting
that.
hunger.
I'm like, can I dual wield with the brass knuckles? I didn't even think about that.
That's a good question.
Because I've got both my hands free. The toads are up on my shoulders.
I always want to call supplements suppositories. And there's not a reason for that. Other than I'm kind of a scum horror author. But I have a supplement that goes into like dual wielding and ways to do dual wielding, but it would probably take me like 30 minutes to go through all my supplements.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't need that. Like, let's say I just take a big old like haymaker swing at that skull. It's gonna be hard for it to look at anybody with burning hate, when I knock that thing right off. So.
All right, so make me your melee attack.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a 1d20, right? Plus 3
So
for the
you're going to be
knuckles?
doing that as a strength check. So for you, that's a +4.
Okay. So let's see. That's a natural 11 plus 4 for 15.
You're able to take your fist and drive it through this bloody, mossy, vine-infested skeleton. Roll me damage.
Okay, that's a d4, right?
That is a... Hold on, let me pull up your character sheet here. I think so. Let me check.
Oh, I can check too, I suppose.
No, it's a d6. So...
okay. Cool. All right,
yeah,
let's
so
do
that
it.
should be... I have a type of there. It should be d6 plus 4, not plus 3. That's my mistake.
So that's
a lot of damage.
That is a nat 6.
Gosh damn.
Holy shit. So
I laid
you
that motherfucker
drive your fist through it. Your brass knuckles comes in contact with solar plexus that has this deep rune gouged in it. And when you shatter it, there's this almost sounds like all of the frogs in the bog begin to like croak loudly, and all of the bones just disassemble in front of you. The skeleton just collapses. The vine that was holding it together slurps back into the swamp behind you, just leaving a pile of bloody, mossy bones. There's
Yeah,
a
I'm starting to think I
purple
might be the
massive haze where
chosen one of the
bones-
frog god. Like that's pretty dope.
Charles, do you want to come up with a new a Stardust chapter after this based on swamp frogs?
You're goddamn right I do, man. The
Hell yeah.
Adeptes amphibious.
Krukulus, when you untangle the fishing line off of the rod, you've noticed by the time you are done untangling it, there is a fat wriggling larvae now on the edge of that hook. It wriggles and glows slightly luminously.
Get Fiskborg
does
out,
it-
man. Just do it.
What?
Get Fiskborg out. Just do it.
I can't get Fiskborg out. We are concentrating on Svump.
Okay,
But
okay.
know
okay.
that I will
All right.
play this character in future Mork Borg supplements because Ian has promised that we would eventually play Fiskborg.
Okay.
And I will play this character again with keeping that. Does it have teeth?
The
grub.
wriggly
The larva.
worm?
Yeah.
You don't think so, but it's probably not something you want to put on a soft, fleshy part of your body.
I mean, not much of my body is soft anymore. My impotence is cured by watching Charles disintegrate a skull with
You
a single
could,
punch.
since you are having a pool of water in front of you, you could try testing it like a fishing rod to see what happens.
Oh
Do
yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, look, John
Do it.
Baldesberger. This is all John wants.
Then do it.
Uh,
Do it and do it quickly.
okay, I do it.
Oh, well.
I'll get
Only
you
D6.
next time, Gadget.
Dr. Claw. It's been a minute.
My
Wow.
throat hurts right now. Otherwise, I would one up that. I can't at the moment.
Gadget.
We can all do our take on it.
By the way, I want you all to know, for those not watching, the chat is live with talk of goblin cock, which be still my heart. This is
I'm a
what
fan-
I
I'm a
wanted
fan
when I
of
Our
started
work
this
here is
Switch.
done.
Scrote goat.
Mission
I think
There-
that's what you are.
There
is
is,
the scrote goat
there is
here?
a metal burger bar chain of the Midwest that does make burgers based off a band name. So whenever Goblin Cock comes into town, they do have a burger that has a hot dog on it and like green fluorescent relish. Anywho, so roll me that d6.
2.
2. So you dip your rod into the line into the waters. It disappears, and you pull up the line, and you feel something heavy on the edge of your hook. So roll me a strength check real quickly.
Oh boy. Oh,
It's just going to be an
geez.
old boot, man.
Just
You
the
rolled-
one.
1. I thought you were like going to tell us something. So you pull on the rod, and you fling out a rotten human leg, and the line snaps.
Aww.
Relic
It
well
is
used.
completely riddled with some type of wriggling worms, and it's hideous. So you are in this space. You can still go to the north from here. It looks like there is a very muddy patch between here and a clearing beyond, and you're pretty sure you see light moving up ahead.
Ooh.
You could look to your northeast, and you see that there is a clearing that opens up, and it looks like there is an expanse of yellow soil or yellow plant debris of some
neat.
kind.
That's neat. I'm going to strap the fishing rod to my back and shove as many of the leg worms in a bag as I can.
Right ahead. I like it.
They start to just burrow into your flesh, mostly harmlessly when you try to pluck them from the rotten leg.
Okay, I tie a bit of the fishing line around the leg, ankle, and I'll drag it behind me. Then,
Like one does.
Hey, I fish that up fair and square. Do not try to take that from me, sir. Don't know what that means. My vote is to go where the light is.
Yeah, I'd go with that. And also, I'm going to do something I should have done before, which is so I have 2 rations or 3 that we decided.
You have
Ian?
at least 3 rations,
Okay.
and your toads can
Well,
be consumed as well.
Over our dead bodies, they
How
can.
dare you, sir? Yeah. No, actually,
I
what
was
I'm
just
gonna
trying to bait a
do-
fight with
I'm
the
pretty sure,
frog
yeah.
cultist.
I was saying,
Huggy-
I'm pretty sure
Huggy and
that's
Muggy.
game over.
Yeah,
Huggy
yeah.
and Muggy are our mascots.
That's right. And the one that actually came back and talked to me, I'm assuming it's Huggy. He's the talkative one.
Mhm.
I feed him half a ration bar, but now I take the other half, I give it to Muggy, and then I kind of pluck him up off the ground, and I go, scout out that light, and set him down to go to work. And off he hops towards the light just to have a look.
I'm not as well versed in frog speak. What was it that you said?
Oh, sorry. Scout out the light.
Scout out, making sure.
Yeah.
Charles, I just want to point out that I love the voice you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
10 out of 10. I'm really enjoying it.
It's good.
So you send your frogs through the expansive mud flat between here and whatever the area is up ahead that is dark but has lights. You hear a plaintive little squeal whine as you see halfway through this mud, your frog buddies are sinking into the mud.
No.
No!
No. But they are frogs. Like, okay. Is it too late to call them back?
Well, make me a roll me d20. Let's see if your frogs
Okay.
can break free of this sucking mud.
Man, I hope so. I'm gonna be truly bummed, like IRL.
Oh, we're saving those frogs. We have a new
Yeah.
class.
Yeah,
if there's
okay.
We will
none.
die before those frogs die.
Yeah,
I rolled a nat 12, as a matter of fact.
There we go. So your frogs are able to free themselves,
Whew.
and they come back to you. So
And I'm weeping. I'm like, oh, come to daddy. And put
They
them back up on
gurgle-
my-
and they warn you that there are patches where the mud is deeper than others.
Yeah, not a
Okay.
good option. I'm thinking.
So maybe we should go the other direction.
Yeah, I think we should go
without
around.
the light.
Yes. That was such an obvious anglerfish thing. I shouldn't have fallen for it.
I didn't even.
Right?
I'd be dead in 2 seconds in the deep sea. Because of my soft, fleshy body, but also,
But also,
Because you're a goose, shiny.
anglerfish.
Keep in mind that something that is a knee deep to you is swimming pools deep to a toad.
I still don't like it. It feels like a trap.
Sounds sketchy.
Yeah,
You know.
we're gonna
If
go
the
the other
toads
way.
can't make it, what hope do we have?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's head to the clearing with the mysterious yellow substance.
Yeah, we'll head towards that. So I have for the audience, the viewing audience. I actually have the map open. I haven't looked at any of what any of it means. Right, I don't have. I did not read any of the book because I didn't want to spoil the adventure. But for the viewing audience, we are, and for Ian's sake, we are heading towards 5.
Hey, yeah, you kept track of the areas. So you enter into this dead forest. There is a thick, spongy layer of yellow, wet moss underfoot that every time you have a footfall, it makes a squelching sound. Water kind of pools at your feet. There are these dead, hollow trees just standing straight still. And when that warm wind kind of blows once in a rare while, it makes a low moaning sound as it passes through the hollows in the trees. From here, you could see that you have a whole wall of trees all the way around this clearing, but there are different passageways that radiate from it deeper into the swamp. To your northwest, it snakes around into a pretty dense thicket. You think you see those kind of twinkling lights from earlier in that direction. To your southeast, it is very deep and wet looking. Really, I'm probably wrong. Probably in the distance, it really looks more shallow than deep, but the light is playing tricks on you. To the east, you see that there is definitely much deeper water. You can see the tops of short trees sticking out, kind of giving an indication to its depth. And then to the north, you see that almost smack in a solid wall of thick reeds and vines, there looks to be a stony face, like a building is just kind of jutting out of the ground. And it has a large iron banded door.
I have the craziest idea, you guys. So,
The crazier the better, baby.
yeah. So, Floor what? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting my own name here. Florgar, right? So Florgar is like very, very buoyant. He's full of like swamp gas and shit. What if you guys were to use me as a raft to like just sort of go scout out those deep waters and just float me atop the waves and
Right off into the sunset.
That's right. Not a fetish, I swear. It's just a
okay, you say it's not
offer.
fetish.
Yeah, it makes it more suspicious when you clarify.
I am definitely hard. So, like, kind of a fetish, it sounds like. Gross.
Well, at least we know the impotence wasn't a problem.
Yeah. I helped him with that, man. It's my bulging, rotten, gas-filled muscles.
Real quick, I would like to thank Dieseltron and Harlen Linke for subscribing to the channel. Thank you, guys. We
I have one of
appreciate
those. I should probably do
that. For those of you who aren't aware, if you are a member of Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. And all that does is it takes a little money out of Jeff Bezos's pocket and gives it to me. Well, us, but
Ironically, we use the Bezos rod to take the money out of the pocket.
just think of me as the Jeff Bezos of indie horror without the maniacal hatred for all people.
As you stand here debating the virtues of using one of your companions as a bloated raft,
I'm all for it.
You hear a twisted, wet, high-pitched giggle, laughter. Ooh. It seems to be radiating from various trees. Kurgast, you are paying attention to the song and the chorus of the frogs. So why don't you roll me a presence check to see where this is coming from?
15.
So you see darting between the trees, there looks to be a child, or what you think is a child. Their face is completely obscured by long dark hair covering it, and their skin is bone white pale, and they're zigzagging between the trees, stopping once in a while to kind of peer at you, but you can't see anything. So the hair is straight down over its face. What?
But we are here for children, but I do not trust this one.
It's very John, look, I recommend that we use the fishing rod on this. See if you can't just like snag that child.
Well, how much line is like? What kind of fishing rod is this? Like a runic thing with a piece of line tied to it? Do I have a spinner?
Well, it would be just mostly tied to it. There's some type of magical effect here, but currently you broke your string with that nat 1. So
that's why I'm asking how much.
Unless you take the time to magically repair it, you'd think that it's currently inoperable.
Okay. I tell him.
Are you gonna let this kid get away? Are you gonna chase it, or are you keeping a distance?
Who's the fastest?
It's weaving between those trees.
Like in our party, who would you say what stat would give us that? Like who's the fastest? Agility?
I have a 0.
I have a 0.
Yeah, I have that's my worst stat. Trust me, I have a negative.
Oh, metagaming is no fun. You know the dice rolls are
yeah,
chaotic.
No, that's well, okay.
I've been playing myself
playing myself as agile and able to leap across things and do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to attempt to get to the body of the child.
get to the body of the child?
I don't like how
That's
you
a
worded
strange
that.
way to word
That
that.
I don't
That is
either.
more suspicious for me saying long-haired, can't see face, child from the ring or something like Ringu.
You let me have that child.
All right, so make me an agility check.
Let me get it.
Get it. For people who haven't seen our CU Space Cowboy game, we will be
Yeah,
making
you should
get it references
definitely
for
go
us.
check that one. Go check that one out.
What would you say, Ian? Honest question. How would you feel about a 4?
Well, I will say that for people who haven't remembered, all of you do have omens that you can burn to re-roll. Not saying you need to do
It's
it
too
for this
funny,
case.
though. It's too funny because
So
I
you chase
built him up
this
as a badass.
child, and you are running through this moss that is just saturated with bog water. And you chase after this kid. One foot sinks into the mire, and you go face first, flung down into it, and get a whole mouthful of moss. Like, it pushes water up into your sinuses. You feel something wriggling. It's horrible. And the two of you see this kid run towards where that stone wall front is, and it slinks around the edge, and it seems to slip into a hole in the ground. It gives this cackling laugh, and for a second you think you see its face, but you're not sure if it's just like a nightmarish void or if that was just the darkness of this place. Keep in mind, you're in this preternatural gloom that, it's almost at the point where you would need torches and lanterns. It's so dark, almost dungeon-like. So
I spit out this vump water, and I say thank you, Liam, for subscribing. Before pulling out a torch and trying to light it as I pull myself up.
So you have these different directions that you could head into. You could go to the north-northwest where there were some dancing lights. You can go to the mysterious door to the north. To the east, deep water. To the southeast is less deep water. And, of course, to the southwest is where you came from.
I think the northeast with the mysterious door is. That sounds like
that'd be just due north, yeah.
Yeah, due north is where I would suggest we go.
That or floating in the deep water. I kind of like that idea too.
Yeah,
I am done with the deep water, sir. I know there are goblin cocks in there.
At the very least. All right, we're heading north.
So your companion is covered in goblin skin and chunks of wet yellow moss. You approach the front of this, and you see that the wall front is perfectly set stones without mortar. Has been very acutely chiseled and brought from a far distance. There is a very thick door that looks to be some type of ironwood that is wrapped in iron bars. There is a large lock pad, or a padlock, in front of the door. From underneath the door, you can smell that sickly, sweet stench of rot, perhaps rotting flesh.
I mean, I'm like tempted to just kick the door in. I've got a pretty stout leg on me. I don't know.
Hey, you tell me.
Yeah, I'm fairly irritated. I have not had very good luck this evening. I don't know if any of y'all noticed. As I've essentially stumbled and fumbled my way across this fucking swamp.
Well, man, Peta would tell you it's like bad karma from all those goblin skins. Like, you're wearing leather and fur and shit. Like, it's not cool, man.
Did you just invoke PETA at me?
I did.
But did you pronounce it PETA?
I did. Well, I figure they're protecting pets, right?
I mean,
that's valid. Why not?
That's the opposite of what they do, sir.
But yeah, I know those. Yeah. So yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna kick the door in. Like,
real quick. I'm kind of suspicious of the yellow moss stuff, so I'm gonna kind of just like start approaching and like rubbing it off your character, like brushing it off you because he does not trust
That's
he's
probably
rubbing
good.
off your goblin skins. Is what I'm
It
saying.
makes this really weird, like squishy sound, like if you rub 2 pickle slices together as you are
It's so
getting.
specific.
You like to make
That's awesome.
SpongeBob references. I made one for you.
Yeah,
As
I
you,
know.
you
That's
wipe off the clumps of moss. You don't think there's been any damage, but you have a feeling that your companion drank a couple of mouthfuls of that water, so you're not sure
Yeah.
if that
You're
would do
rubbing
anything.
2
Make me your
pickles together?
strength check, Flogar, as you prepare to kick in this very solid-looking door.
Make a what now?
Strength
Strength
check.
check?
You're gonna kick in this door with your bloated
That
cannon-like legs.
would be the wrong die, so it helps if I roll the d20, and that is an 11. Plus, I have
You have plus
strength
4.
modifiers like plus 4. Yeah,
Jiminy
so
cricket.
Damn.
yeah.
So you hit that difficult level of 15. So you've seen that this padlock has like a very strange spiral indication to it, meaning that this is a very arcane special lock to keep people out from this place. And you promptly just kick it in, and the door
No.
clangs inside loudly and then falls crushingly, deafeningly loud. You hear a series of echoes extend deeper into this passage, and
Well, they
maybe
know we're here
something
now.
rustling. You think you, for a brief second before those loud sounds, you heard chanting or some form of voices, and now it is awkwardly quiet, and you can just hear water dripping.
Hey man, we don't have time for the stealth approach tonight, so
Yeah.
before we go anywhere, I light a torch. I think that
I already have a torch lit.
yeah, so 2 torches are better than 1, and since
do
we've
not have
already
any.
established I only need 1 hand to just like lay waste to a motherfucker. Yeah, and you guys want to go investigate what all this chanting and the sweet smell of
Yeah.
it's almost like a cotton candy decay, like
There's only one
that
chant that
unique
I
aroma
like.
of rotting children. What's that?
There's only one chant that I appreciate.
What's that?
Harlan knows what it is.
Oh, you'll see.
You'll see.
So
Let's,
does that mean that you're... I'm sorry?
Yeah, I think we are going deeper into this.
the passage.
I learned recently that torches, pitch wrapped torches, only last for a couple of minutes before
Really?
sputtering out. Yeah. So there's a movie called The Headhunter. It's very Mork Borgy. I found out about it in the Talk Mork Borg group. But the director was talking about, like, yeah, we went with these torches and they only lasted a couple of minutes each, and they filled the tunnel with smoke. So we had to like we'd film for 5 minutes. We'd all have to leave, aerate the thing with fans, and then go back in. And so, yeah.
It depends on what the substance is that you have used. So kerosene will burn a little cleaner, but I mean, there's different types of pitch and resins.
I'm using my Molotov cocktail. Well, I'm Jewish, so I'm using a Mazel Tov cocktail. But
Like if I'm not, yeah,
cocktail.
if I'm not mistaken, like torches were usually not meant to be like carried by humans through enclosed tunnels.
No, not
like they went into iron sconces in the wall and shit, and
yeah.
In fact, lighting is such a facet of like classical architecture because they had to build alcoves for candles to get like.
And this man before the stream was trying to denigrate himself and say he was not smart. Here you are.
I said not smart about tabletop games.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part.
I know a shitload of useless stuff. Yeah. Like
Flogar, as you're taking point in this tunnel, at least this seems to be a tunnel-like entrance at first. It begins to wind itself downwards into the ground. That there are strange mushrooms springing from the wall. They glow faintly luminous, like a slight bluish light, and you think that they might be swaying a little bit, or like their gills move a little bit in.
I snatch one off. I snatch one. And
all right.
Rip it out.
So what do you do with it?
I'm just kind of like looking at it and sniffing it.
Eat it.
It's kind of like licking it a tiny little bit, just like the tip of his tongue, and he ends up mashing it up and rubbing it on his face instead.
Nice.
So You have
Now you're
had
in
this
Smurf
terrible
face, though.
rash across your face for the last couple of weeks. It started when you got sprayed in the face with some type of acid when you had departed your previous cult. And
happens.
rubbing this mushroom into it, you're feeling that that all of those welts on your face begin to
Ooh.
recede.
He snatches up a few more and throws them in his backpack. I'll say like 3 more.
So that sounds like you're in second point. So you've got Flogar in point. You've got Kurgast in second, Seven Krukulis. That means you're in third, right?
Yeah, I'm guarding the rear.
I bet you are.
No, I
So-
got a shield. It's not a sex thing unless they want it to be.
That's naturally what it meant. Were you thinking I was inferring something?
That's true of about everything, though. Like, if you want it to be, then
If you wanted to be.
yeah.
So the tunnel, as you are beginning to go through this, it is cramped, it is uncomfortable. Flogar, all of your mass at this point is beginning to come in contact with the walls. The head of you, that your head is scraping off some type of gunk on the ceiling. You're not sure what it is, and you don't want to know what it is.
Stop. Before I get too squeezed in there,
Yeah?
I'm going to use that bucket of lard that I've got on hand.
Ah.
Yeah, that's right. Now I'm thinking with my head, and I'm just going to lard myself up from head to toe.
Just
So
a
is-
slippery blob.
Do you also lard your toads?
Yes. I do not want them to
They
get
love
crushed
it
or stuck.
when you
or-
lard
yeah, you bet. We're just a couple of slippery buds now. A trio of slippery buds. So,
You're-
yeah.
They chirp very contentedly when you slather them with the lard.
That makes me so happy. That
Yeah, I'm
actually made my night.
pretty glad about this.
As
I need a pet toad, I think.
As you have paused and stopped to lubricate yourself, that chanting starts up again, and it sounds like a chorus of voices, somewhat a little bit higher pitched, but there's a weird resonance sound to the quality of it. Like it's further and deep, and so it's getting distorted, but it's rhythmic and it's unsettling, and it makes you deeply uncomfortable, Kierkegaard, because you know that that cadence that you're hearing, that's usually some type of summoning ritual, or it's some type of appeasement or atonement to something. So you know you need to be treading
Gotcha.
carefully in this foul
He
place.
passes that information on that there's something probably either going to be there or currently being held there.
Make me a presence check to see if you can't pick up any words.
11.
It is too distorted for you to quite clearly hear what it's saying, but you know from the pitch and the timbre and everything, it's something is not right here, and it is foul, and it is blaspheming your god. You're not sure what it is, but you know that it's an affront to the Frog Lord. So this tunnel, it extends.
He puts a hand and just starts pushing us forward more. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's shoving us
Now
along.
that
Let's
I'm all
get through it
greased
fast. He's
up,
no.
yeah, if he's
wrong.
pushing and I'm greased up, we can just
So
shoot
you're
me
able
through
to
this
pass
tunnel like a
through this
bullet.
tunnel pretty well, and it opens into it extends down and almost up and then down. Like it's very disorienting at first, especially all the soot from your torches, and the air is getting progressively drier. Unlike, you can actually feel for the first time just how clammy your skin is from all of that the humid air, and almost you go a little bit clammy. The passageway opens into a large cavernous area that looks like it's been partly chiseled from rock face, but also reinforced with perfectly cut blocks. You see here that there are lit torches on the wall in sconces illuminating the space. Along the walls, there are 3-foot wide square holes that look to have some degree of depth to them, plus lots of bookshelves. Some of them look a little bit more dilapidated than others, and there is a thick layer of slime trailing on the floor, leading towards a passageway to the south. The chanting is getting louder in this space.
Yeah, I need to pipe up to my party members here, fellow party members, and report that I heard a rumor to beware of the slime. Could you understand that, John?
Yeah, I understood that.
Okay.
No, my gesture was like, but you are slimy now.
Beware
Yeah.
of him.
Are the slime.
It's a-
I think it was actually that the wording of the rumor was too much slime.
That's fair. I mean, no such thing. Am I right? Kirklausch kind of steps around foul wind as
Sourwind, please.
Sourwind. Sorry, man, that's much better. Sourwind as
Is it though?
it is. It's way
The
more
delicious
evocative.
smell of baking bread. Come on.
I love sour
Yeasty.
gummies.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is not the info.
He does have a very gummy texture to his body.
I do. Yeah. Gummy,
mean,
lardy. Look, I'm all the dash wise, you know.
This is the first episode we've recorded where I didn't have a bag of snacks. So
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, we're making steps in the right direction.
Making steps in me being a cranky baby, maybe. So I step around him, and I am most interested in figuring out where this chanting is coming from. Is all the sound coming from the stairway to the south?
Yes, it's almost like an open gate, like iron that doesn't seem to have rusted. Like it's pitch black iron. It's like a raw iron gate that is open with stairs descending deeper and downward into this space.
Well, I feel like that's where we should go.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
I set
Do
my
it.
shield in front of me and start doing my little weird swamp man walk towards it.
I'll come in second right behind him just to back him up.
Yeah, I'll take
So
it
Since
through.
I'm a
you are
bruiser.
advancing towards the stairs leading downward. You're not investigating the things in this space.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I just
I'm
wanted to.
probably most interested in the chanting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
think all
pretty
three of
focused
us
on that
are-
too.
Yeah.
All right.
Please don't be a swamp troll in this room, Hidden.
I promise nothing. So, despite the room with the bookshelves and the square holes in the wall having dry, kind of coolish air, as you begin to descend these stairs, being very mindful of the thick layer of mucousy like slime sticking to them, you can feel that the air is beginning to grow uncomfortably warm again. And the air is not just humid, but it's wet. Like you just dried off a bit, and now you are just feeling like almost like perspiration just start to drip off of you. The air itself gets this thick scent of earth and stagnant water. The walls, as you descend downward, have very thick, obscene runes carved into them that make your vision squirm a bit when you try to focus on them. It opens up at the end of this flight of stairs downward into a large natural, what looks to be like a cave. Stalactites hanging from the ceiling, dripping water. There is a plateau that extends outward that looks like it descends off as like a cliff face, or at least it's dark on the other side and you can't see what is beyond that edge. There is, along the line of that cutoff, are the children. There are 13 children that are lined up here. All of them look like they're in their night clothing or their bed clothing of various kinds. There is an altar off to the side of this, so it almost looks like you are looking at this floor extending outward, almost like a peninsula. Like it is a projection outward that is almost like an outcropping this above some type of deep gulf. In front of this altar where these children are standing is that horrible thing that you saw in your black mirror, Krukalas.
Oh no.
It put up that picture on the screen of this thing that is now tormenting your waking moments. It is a human upper body with this bloated, corpulent, fat orange and green slug abdomen. A long, tattered black robe covers its form barely. It has a moldy, pointed hat, and it leans heavily upon a crooked, gnarled staff. Its face is old, and it has a long, gray, slimy beard that is dripping that mucus. It has a pair of feeble, milky, human eyes, but above it are snail-like feelers that point out with eyes at the end of them that blink
Cool.
asynchronously. It fixes all four of its eyes upon you, and it opens its mouth. And it looks like it has a combination of flapping gums, but then also yellow, gnarled teeth in it. And it gives a wet, gurgly sound like someone hawking up mucus that has a terrible plague. You, at first, can't tell if it's saying something or just clearing its throat. Eventually, it spits a gobbet of thick phlegm on the floor that moves a little bit like gelatin. Welcome. You are just in time. The pale slug comes. You will be the heralds of the end. You should be honored to be here in this moment.
Do we need to roll initiative, or can I just do a thing?
Well, it seems to be engaging you in discourse, so it's not actively moving for combat.
Well,
so
I think I'm
what
pretty
are you
ready to
wanting
do
to
something
I-
too.
I am engaging it in throwing a cloud of angst in its face, which is a type of discourse.
That is true.
I feel like we're gonna nuke this thing.
It's like 1, nat 20, baby.
All right.
I believe that's
So you pull
presence
your
roll?
little satch of that squirming dust,
Mhm.
and you fling it at
Can
its
this
I,
face.
also
I
be
do
a
yell
goblin
pocket
scrotum?
sand. I
Can
do
this
yell
also be a
pockets.
goblin scrotum that he's got
Ye-
the dust in? Just for me.
It's actually a goblin boob.
Oh, okay. Wow.
The scrotum was my sling.
Okay.
I am a equal opportunity goblin flayer.
Not to be graphic, but it also makes sense because if you had pressure and you were to squeeze the sack, you could distribute out the.
Yeah.
See, at that point, we're going to start losing.
Hey, did you
viewers
know people can unsubscribe? I'm I'm going to boob sand.
Yeah.
All right. So you throw this dust in its face, and in its trail of it leaves black, sparkling, not quite glitter, almost just like a very fine ash. And you swear you see terrible moments from your life as that dust kind of trails out towards the slug wizard. And it needs to make a morale check.
Indeed.
Who do you want to make that check? One who has been rolling poorly? Or do you want to outsource that to one of your compatriots?
No, it makes sense for me to roll it.
It sure does. Use that power for good.
So your morale check is a 2d6.
Oh, all right. And am I trying to roll higher, or let me pray? Do I want to roll high or low?
I don't think I should tell you that.
That's fair. Well, I rolled high. I rolled a 9.
So you fling this dust at it, and you successfully coat it in a very fine layer of this ash-like substance.
Should have used salt.
And Good point. And it coughs, and it just spits up a gobbet of now ash-tainted sputum, and it looks at you with disdain, like it's almost disappointed in you. And then for a second, it kind of blinks its roomy 4 eyes, and it concentrates all 4 eyes on you again, and you get that sense of doom and dread that you had earlier, but it's almost more horrifyingly so, since this thing is here and it knows you.
Okay.
And it says,
I have a plan B.
I see you, Cruel Kalas. I know you. I have tasted your fear, but you don't need to be afraid much longer.
I'm getting very big signals.
Or you say that?
I do say that. Is he still talking? Because if he is, I'm going to take another action.
He is.
Okay.
And if you make an aggressive move, are you making... Well, hold up.
I will.
What are the rest of your 2 companions doing, just to make sure that the 2 of you are not being excluded? You know, Kierkegaard, this thing is an affront to your god, as those children are indeed singing and chanting some type of unclean song, and it makes every fiber in your body scream. Flogar, this thing is nauseating to you, and you are also disgusted by the fact that these children, their eyes themselves seem unusually pale and roomy.
So, I have salt. I actually do have salt.
Shit.
I would like to pass it to Flogar.
Yeah.
And he's going to suggest coating your oily, lard-covered hands in salt.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Lovely.
let's do it. Let's do it.
So while they do that, I will do my thing. All 3 of us. My thing definitely won't beat it, but I think it'll be fun.
All right. Well, so you are beginning to pass around salt. You're beginning to cast actions. If talking is pretty much a free action, it pulls its head back and it extends its jaws far too wide and deep for any creature of its size to do. Like, you hear the sounds of like cartilage creaking, and it just screams and bellows a 1-syllable word sound. It's incomprehensible what it is, but it makes the canyon itself like that rattle and shake. And this line of 13 children's, the first gives this odd wide smile. It pulls a dagger, it slits its own throat and falls back off the side of the edge. You hear seconds later a wet splash, and you know that there is a pool of dark water beneath it. And the rest of the children don't react. They just begin to chant harder, and you see all of them pull knives from their pockets and start to hold them to their throat.
Jesus.
So we will start doing this as initiative. Who wants to make a group initiative roll?
I think it's my turn.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a D6, right?
Absolutely.
4.
Okay, so you have been waiting for this moment to bring this blasphemer to the light of the true God. You will act first, and we will do round robin.
Okay, it is time.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of like whips out his cloak, like Matrix style almost. His cloak of toads. And you see their faces start like wriggling and like writhing more. And they begin chanting, going, "Bow down to the power of the frog, Lord. Bow down to the power of the frog, Lord." It just gets more and more intense and builds up. And you hear this just like, just this intense metal growl. And I am using conjuration from filth, which is a summon.
That is dope.
So I believe I roll a presence.
Floorguard, you hear your little companions beginning to also scream, "Bow down to the power of the Frog Lord."
I'm like getting down to it. I'm starting to get into the rhythm.
Jamming.
You know, I'm getting ready to box. It's like,
Very
it's
jiggly.
on. Yeah.
So
So yeah, let's see.
What did you
How'd we
roll?
do?
I just natched 20 the presence roll for that.
Oh shit!
I don't know what that
Alright,
does.
So
for that,
it's
but...
it is a sign that your God is with you and
yes.
blesses your party. There is
Bless
a
this mess.
small rain of very tiny frogs that materializes out of nowhere.
They're
They
all
seem to be
chanting,
made
"Bow
out of
down
like
to the power."
corporeal energies.
it.
but
Bow down.
It is a sign that you are blessed. What? So now roll me your d10 and see what you're summoning.
Okay, now I
This
hope I
is
get
a
something
new
good
spell
here.
that is in the book. It is Conjuration from Filth, and there are 10 things you could summon with this spell. Something
How
Five.
exciting!
5.
5. So
What do we
you
get?
Giant wolf
summon.
spider.
Yes, there's this burst of miasmic purple haze or smoke, and out from it steps a giant. Yes, a giant wolf spider covered in shaggy fur, and it has 2 jagged, dripping fangs in the front of it. It will shake off its summoning sickness, and you can have it act next turn. It is heinously horrible. It's the size of a dog.
Nasty.
Aw.
Well, the hairy spiders are the ones that don't freak me out. Actually, like it's
Well,
the
then-
smooth spiders that upset me. Shaggy
Florgar
spiders
is
are kind
okay
of adorable.
with the shaggy spider.
course.
Yeah, I give him a little like ruffle on his back, but I'm swinging for the fences. I am gonna salt fist this thing right up its own ass. So,
As you get close to it, I mean, you're just getting this terrible stench of the grave and what smells like snot and mucus. Its jaw and mouth is still extended, like deep, like far too wide, and it's just pitch black inside. So make me your strength check.
all right, and that's a D6, right?
Oh no, so that is your D20, and you're adding a +4
Gotcha.
because you have obscene strength.
That would be a 11 + 4 for a 15.
So you connect your giant, meaty, salty, brassy fist with its snot body. Roll me damage.
All right, that's the 1d6, right?
That's 1d6 + 4.
Yeah, plus the modifier.
Any
And that would be
bonuses for the
3.
That
3
would
and
be
4 for 7.
For 7.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then roll me. Hold on. How do we want to do this? I'm going to say that your salt does 1d4 extra damage, but we'll roll that in a second. Hold up. So we did 7. So that's 3. So your fist connects with it, but it's almost like punches through a wad of snot. So you've punched it, but not as hard as you could, almost like how a pugilist will also lubricate themselves with lard, so the punches don't connect as hard, but that salt still burns into its wound. Roll me 1d4 extra damage.
Alrighty, let's have a look. Where did I put it? There you are. And that would be... Sorry, I've got to hold this up to the light here. Oh, and that one. Great.
So it's still a little bit of damage. You think you hear its skin sizzling a bit from the salt as it begins to penetrate its mucus. Next in initiative, Krukulas. You are starting an action. What is it?
Yeah, no, it's a look. This is a good one, and I hope you all appreciate it. So it's Charles and heads are like, but it's like intent are still up, right?
That's correct.
Cool. I'm going to spritz him right in the eyes with my exquisite perfume.
I knew I shouldn't have given that to you.
But you did, you jackass.
All right, make me an agility roll.
Over
Here I
and
thought it'd be
over,
comical
whenever
when
we
the person with a goblin scrotum sling would have a vial of exquisite perfume because you had a lot of silver for starting off with.
whenever we play any of these games, my immediate reaction looking at the character sheet is like, how can I use these things that aren't weapons? How can I use the flavor stuff?
Yeah.
14.
Nice.
So
First decent move of the game.
So you, Kristen Dior, right in the eyes, and it wails as you spray it with this thing that smells like clean air, fresh air, lilac, summer breeze, things that are anathema to the swamp, and it makes an undulating, gurgly howl, and it like, begins to just weep big, thick tears down its eye stalks.
Nice.
It in its kind of wet, throaty voice, it says, "You don't understand," and it blindly looks to see where you are, and it is having a hard time tracking you. It begins to twist, if it has a tongue, twist it into some weird and uncomfortable positions as sounds that do not come from mortal mouths begin to pour from its mouth, and it begins.
I got lots of noises. I can hold
You
that
are
for like
sort of a professional noisemaker.
I can hold that for like a minute straight, so I will spare you that at least.
Could you do that? Could you record that for a sleep machine for me?
Sure.
Ooh, all right, that's interesting. So as it begins this unearthly, deathly wail, you hear the sound of stones breaking from underneath your feet, and clawing out from
Uh-oh.
the abyss are three. Is it three? Yeah, three skeletons claw their way from the afterworld into this world. Your torches dim a few moments as they burst themselves, and they open their empty jaws and also add their death rattles to the chorus of wailing in this. The children are still chanting their terrible song, and another one takes a knife and so just runs it through and falls backward with arms outstretched off the cliffside. You see another child just take its dagger and just ram it into its throat and twist it out and fall off. There are 11 children left. There are now 3 skeletons standing amongst your party and 1 wolf spider. And the atmosphere in this room, the air in this space becomes even hotter and more uncomfortable. And now there's the smell of the grave running rife as well. So there's going to be 3 skeletons acting next turn as well. Top of the initiative. So you have summoned a giant wolf spider.
Nice.
I'm gonna have him actually go after one of the skeletons.
So it clicks its fangs in acknowledgement, and it launches itself to one of the skeletons. So have it roll me a strength check. So just roll me d20, and
I rolled a 4.
Of 4.
Bummer.
So it flings itself at the skeleton, and the skeleton, being a lithe, sprightly thing, turns itself sideways in just the moment that the spider springs past it. You can hear all 8 of its
Graceful as hell.
feet like hit the ground and slam as it tries to reposition itself for another attack. What do you do then instead, Kierkegaard?
I am going to cast another scroll.
All right, make me your. Now roll me 1. Why don't that be real fun if you did?
I'm actually going to do the rot swarm this time.
All right. So roll me your presence.
He kind of opens up his cloak and just like his body starts bubbling and writhing. And I rolled a 11 on my presence.
So you are able to, unlike other type of arcane spellcasters that would normally be a failure, being so in tune with the swamp magics, you were able to open your body as a conduit to the flies of the Frog Lord's domain, and you have a giant cloud of buzzing, biting flies. You direct it towards one target. Who do you direct it towards?
The slug wizard here.
So you instruct the flies to bite. So roll me d6 for damage.
That is a 3.
3. All right. And so, let me see. The flies have a hard time biting through the mucus. They're just getting stuck to its thick outer skin or layer of scum. But roll me d4 to see how long the slug is confused.
2 rounds.
2 rounds. So it is going to be distracted for 2 rounds as it is being attacked by these flies. Good going. Next in initiative, Flogar. So you've got snot and salt and lard and brass in your fist.
Yep, I'm a disgusting motherfucker. Not that I wasn't to begin with, being full of the gas of my own rotting meat and so forth. But help me picture this just one more time. Relative to the Gulf, is Slug Wizard like pretty distant from that, near the edge of it?
So if this was like a kind of like a U-shaped peninsula, let's say it's kind of like almost like a bell curve. You have the children lined up around the edge, and then off to the side you have an altar and slugs. So slugs basically dead center in the middle of this projected outcropping.
So probably too far for me to just kick his ass over the edge, which is a damn shame. Let me see. He's slippery, and all I have are like 2 very meaty fists equipped with brass. Oh no, actually, here's a novel idea. I have a large iron hook, and I'm so sick of this slippery bastard. I'm gonna see if we can't bait that large iron hook with his ass, and then maybe see what we can catch in that gulf with the scrimshod fishing rod.
So are you attaching that hook to like your chain or your rope, or are you just grabbing your big hook?
I'm just grabbing the big hook, and I'm trying to hook the slug so that he can, stop sliding away from me, and I can really like let him have it next round.
All right, we'll treat it as a D6. So you dig through your pack and you pull out your giant hook, and you can use that next round.
Okay.
Krukalas.
I don't got much left except an honest man's little femur. So actually, I also have scissors. I'm gonna try to cut off one of his eye stalks with my scissors.
All right. So it's going to be a little more of a difficult target because it's smaller. But if you get a good hit, you do a little snip snip.
I do.
Don't forget, you have omens, and we're close to the time.
Yeah. Okay, I'll use an omen. How many omens do I have?
That's a good point.
I have one omen. Okay, so I get one.
Count.
I did not.
So you try to tap in and pull the skeins of fate in your favor, and you fail. Every time you try to use your inward sight, you just see that face that is now also in front of you, and you fail. You just quiver in your boots. It is still reeling from getting sprayed in the eye stalks with perfume and being attacked with biting flies, and it is just thrashing itself, throwing mucus globs everywhere, and it seems to be losing its action. The 3 skeletons attack. One is going to be going towards you, Krokolos, another one to Kurgas, and another towards the wolf spider. So, Spider, roll me your defense.
Those are some smart skeletons. They know who not to fuck with.
So Kurgast, roll me d20 for your wolf spider's defense.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's me.
Yeah. It's all good.
I rolled an 8.
An 8. So the skeleton pulls out a large shank of bone and brings it down and stabs your wolf spider. It strikes your wolf spider for 5 points of damage.
Wow.
It has an exoskeleton of D2. It soaks 1 point of damage. So it has 8 hit points. So your wolf spider has taken 3 points of damage overall, but still trucking.
Still
One
in
of the
the game.
skeletons attacks you, Krukulus, so you need to make me a defense, and same thing with you, Kuragast. Both go ahead and roll me your agilities to save time.
Nope.
I rolled an 8, but I'm going to use an omen to reroll
Okay.
that. And I rolled a 16 that time.
All right.
Nice.
So you pull and tap into the Frog Lord's protection, and he covers you in a mantle of his blessing and protection, and the skeleton's bony claw does not penetrate your aegis. However, for you, Krukulus, you see this as you are concentrating, trying to bring down the slug wizard with your scissors. You leave your flank open, and this skeleton stabs at you.
Classic
and
mistake.
Strikes you for 4 points of damage right in the spine. So roll your armor soak.
He hits me for 1 point of damage. You mean?
Well, how? Because you got I see. You got 2 on your armor and then 1
And
from
1
your
on my shield. Yeah.
All right. So you feel a light stab, and that's it.
Poke.
2 more children giggle, breaking their chaining for a second as they slit their throats and fall smiling into the abyss below. There are
I can't
9
help it.
children
I
left.
love
Every
the
time-
smiles and laughter of children. They just make me happy.
Every time one of them slits the throat and falls off the cliff, it's getting hotter in here, and you swear you're hearing the waters that you can't really see, they're below you, beginning to seethe and boil. Top of the initiative, Kurgast.
I'm gonna put
Um,
that.
I'm going to have the
I'm
spider
sorry,
attack
yeah.
another skeleton.
All right.
And that is a 12 plus whatever the strength would be. I forgot.
The wolf spider, it doesn't have a
Oh, okay.
crucible stat. So its damage as a bite is D4.
That is a 2.
All right, 2 points of damage to skeleton. You hear its fangs begin to chomp on bone. What do you do for your action?
I'm actually going to run over. Can I reach these kids? Like, are they just like up on someplace?
Yeah, they're just standing on an edge, just lined up.
I'm going to try to grab one and pull it away from the edge.
As you try to pull away from the edge, it just smiles and chants at the same time, like showing all of its teeth, and it just ragdoll hangs in your arms, and you feel it's slowly bringing its knife up to you as you are pulling it to safety. Make me a defense roll.
That would be a 7. That's not good.
That's interesting. I was going to give it a DR of 8 because it seemed low, but you rolled a 7. So the child...
I'm going to use an omen.
All right.
I've got 1 HP.
Yeah, sure, man.
And I rolled a 3.
Bow down to the power of the no.
So the child's knife begins to you pull to safety, and it's trying to bring it up, like slice its own throat, and it basically just brings it down across you. You hear this very wet, angry croaking sound, and your mantle of frog skin snags on the blade and then just splinters and falls to pieces.
Oh, no.
All of the other frogs, though, like frogs made of like corporeal energy filling the space, disappear in the kind of the sound of a frog burp. Child is still chanting right in your face, and you've pulled it away from the edge and wrestled the knife away from it. Flogar, you have your giant hook.
Yep.
Does
I'm gonna
this
run
look
it.
dangerous?
Does
Sorry. All right.
Yeah,
Roll me your action.
all right, action is what, like a D20, correct? Yeah.
That's
All
correct.
right.
So you're going to be doing it
Let's
as a
see.
strength. So it's a D20 plus your 4.
Oh man.
And no one
for
in the
the
chat
first
reacted to
time.
my that SpongeBob reference either.
It's just you and me, man. That was a 5, so what I'm gonna do is use my omen, assuming I have one, and re-roll that bad boy for a 11. Nat 11 plus, wasn't it
That's
4?
15 again.
Again.
It'd be a D6 plus 4 damage.
Let's see. D6. 1 plus 4 damage for 5.
5 points of damage. So you like hook into its soft, quivering body, and you puncture it, and like you just snag it, and you can feel it puncturing weird organelles in its body, and it howls in pain. And you've done a pretty deep wound in it. You can see that this green pussy ooze begins to leak out of it, and it seems to be deflating in power and strength. Does someone think that they can finish off this terrible beast? What say you, Krukulus?
I'll try. Plunging my scissors down into his face. 17.
You know what? You've missed, and now you've got a solid hit as Flogar is stretching this corpulent body, giving it tension and turgor for your scissors. Roll me the
2.
I was gonna say, give me a D6. I don't know what you rolled initially.
Okay, ignore that then. Haha, a 2.
A 2. So this thing is in pretty bad shape. It is covered in biting flies that are trying to punch through its mucus. It is being stretched out and flayed by Flogar, and you snip its stretched body, and it begins to peel back like an overripe piece of fruit. And the slug wails, saying, "This was the only chance to stop the end, and you've ruined it all. I'll see you in hell."
Blasphemer!
And from its wound in its side, parasites begin to like squirm out and die as they fall upon like the salty earth from you covering your hands in salt.
Nice.
All the children begin to scream, and as they open their mouths in a unearthly howl, slug-like worms just pour out of their mouth, and they kind of slump over in a pile of these shriveling parasitic things.
Boy, I've been there.
As you have this one child in your arms, Kurgast, you see like one of these parasites like crawls out of its ear, another one comes out of its mouth, and you see that they have been controlled by whatever these parasitic things are. But as soon as you start to study them, they begin to melt away into just blubbles of fat. So with that, eventually the children come to, and they have no recollection of where they are and why there are 3 horribly scarred and disfigured creatures saying, "We're going to take you to your parents covered in blood and lard and excrement," trying to convince them that it's safe and that I mean, I don't know if you're trying to lure them with candy or what, but eventually
We all die in the swamp trying to get them out.
Yeah, sure.
Just like any story that has, it's a happy ending.
It's
so
a proper
let's-
Mork Borg ending, yeah.
Let's drop back out into our chat window. We ran a little bit long, so we have to get through all of our announcements very quickly.
Yeah.
But let's start with thanking our guest, Harlen of Bog Wizard. Bog
So
Wizard,
much
of
fun,
course-
man. Awesome.
Bog Wizard, of course, is
Thank you for having me.
the band
pleasure.
responsible for our intro and outro music, Barbaria. Harlan, I saw that the vinyl split for Frog Frog in a Bog with Frog Lord is still available on your link tree. That's linktree/Bog Wizard, where you can get all his
Hell
links
yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, go do that. Go pre-order that album.
We've got all kinds of stuff. I didn't get to show it off. We have dice bags.
It's
now.
so good too. Yeah.
Nice.
We've got multiple new runs of all of our stuff on cassette at the
Very
moment.
cool.
New like fresh lime green miasmic purple smoke. Actually, these are the first runs. Never mind. We got silver versions. This is gold. I got silver versions of the Frog
Nice.
Lord. They're up now. We went through the initial 50 run of those. I got shirts. I got all kinds of ridiculous amounts of merch. So,
So cool.
blogwizard.bigcartel.com is also our main merch site.
Buying
Awesome.
merch is a great way to support a band, so make sure you
Yes,
like and
it helps a ton.
subscribe
Goddamn
on
right it is.
Bandcamp, on Facebook, on Spotify. All of them boost the power of the Bog Wizard and the Frog Lord on various social medias.
Absolutely. So for us, you can find us at www.wanmoncast.com, where you can get all of our links and see all of our shit. Important to note, Ian Servas and I have released a new game.
Yeah.
You can find it on madness-heart-games.itch.io. You can also find all the links to that and where you can buy it on Godless, on One Moncast, under all that. It has all of our links. You can get Charles's books, you can get my books, you can buy Ian and I's games. So do that thing. We will be doing live streams of Godless League Adventures, our game, within the near future. But
It's
obviously,
$1. Give
it's
us
a
your
dollar. It's
Yeah.
not, so okay.
What the hell are you
Real
gonna
quick.
do with that dollar?
Ian
Nothing.
and I had a conversation earlier where Ian was like, "Hey man, I'm worried that people will see that because we're not charging more for it, maybe it's not like professional work." Ian knows better than anyone that I spent 60 to 70 hours just doing the layout for this thing. It's an intense amount of work that we lovingly spent on. I'm giving it away for $1 because I want you to play it. I want you to love it, and I want you to be like confident that our next game is going to kick ass too.
Mhm.
I'm going so fast. I have a book coming out at the end of this month. Charles, do you have a new book out from Raventail?
Yeah, that'll be out by the end of this month. I think within the next 2 weeks. It's called Arcanum Volume 1 Initiation. It's part 1 of a duology that's a 10-card Celtic Cross tarot spread with a unique tarot card for each chapter, illustrated by Astrid K. Mickelson. I don't have a link for that one yet because we're still working out the details of the press or the print version. But as soon as I know, it'll be up on my Twitter.
Awesome. I will mention that one of the artists for SVMP that we played tonight is Simone, aka Old Raging Barbarian, and they also did a bunch of art for our project, Godless League Adventures. So you can see even more art, and maybe a shirt is coming. So that's awesome.
Real cool
Yeah.
picture. If you have a copy of
It's
the
real
book,
cool.
you'll probably know which image we're talking
Yeah,
about.
for sure. And my book,
And he's
that is
also
coming,
available for commissions in case you have an art project yourself or like a TTRPG.
and my book, which is coming out on May 30th, is the first of my new Splatter Pulp series, which is a pulp style fiction fantasy called Belle the Last Dragon, Jungles of Habael. Friends, thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. You have been a fantastic audience. Harlan, you have been an amazing guest. We do love you.
Can I do one more
And,
plug before we
yes,
go?
of course.
I forgot.
Yes.
We will also
Yeah.
be playing PJ's Lager House on May 14th in Detroit. So come see us. We will be playing Barbario. It's the intro and outro.
I wish
I
I
am
was
so
in
jealous.
Detroit.
Oh, find me on social media. I will repost whatever Harlan shows of his playing, and you can see a reading between me and Jay from Ghoulish Fest. It's live online, so Again, thank you all so much for joining us. Have a wonderful night. We will be back next Wednesday for sure. Maybe we'll fuck around between then and now, but don't count on it. Until then, stay safe, but, stay scared.